Hi again everyone, I am Gerard and welcome back to my channel. The topic for this week is about feeding, which is one of the most important, if not the most important topic in the hobby, because this is the basic necessity that will keep your fish alive, but overdoing it is the number one cause of fish death. The reason why overfeeding is the number one cause of fish death is not that it will cause any gastrointestinal issues with the fish, but then if they eat too much, then they will produce more waste, and this waste will stay in your aquarium and will foul your water when they rot, thus producing ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates. If you will have spikes on ammonia and nitrite, you know that it will cause the death of your fishes. If you are just starting with the hobby or about to start with the hobby, the tips I will share will be very useful in not only keeping your fishes healthy and alive, it will also make your aquariums crystal clear. So please stay tuned.
The first tip in feeding is to feed your fishes only once a day. When I was starting with the hobby, every time I visit a new local pet shop, I often ask the owner what is their frequency of feeding, and all of them say they feed their fishes only once a day. Actually, fishes can survive skipping meals a day or two, so feeding them once a day is just fine. Now the question is, how much food shall I feed my fish? So the next tip is, whenever you are feeding your fish, they should be able to consume it in less than 1 minute. If you see uneaten food in more than 1 minute, then it means you're overfeeding your fish. Any uneaten food more than 1 minute should be cleaned out, otherwise it will just foul your water in the aquarium. One of the most common reasons why fish owners are overfeeding their fishes is that after feeding, the fishes seems to be still hungry and still begging for food, so they tend to feed them more. Therefore, the next tip is, healthy fishes are always hungry. So after feeding and your fishes are still begging for food, don't be tempted to feed them more. Just be happy that they are doing so because they are healthy. Because when they stop begging for food, it doesn't mean that they are full. Rather, there is something wrong with that fish. That is why it is during feeding wherein it is the best time to assess the healthiness of your fishes in the aquarium. Now time for bonus tips. For me, to ensure that I am feeding my fishes regularly, even though I'm not at home, and the amount of food is consistent every time, I am using automatic feeders. So if you are a working professional like me, I suggest you get automatic feeder as well, because it will ensure that your fishes are being fed properly even you are not around to feed them. If you look at the aquarium on the right, you will see the automatic feeder at work. And as you watch my fishes feed, you will see how I applied the tips I have given you earlier. And a few moments later, the automatic feeder on the left aquarium will also activate. Next bonus tip is I suggest you get kull loaches. If you see in my aquarium, they are the fishes that look like worms wriggling on the substrate. They are very good cleaners in the aquarium of uneaten food, and what I like about them is they are able to go inside tiny crevices or holes inside the aquarium, so in case the food gets in there, the kull loaches can still reach them and eat them. Finally, if you prefer a bare bottom aquarium, then that is just fine. But if you prefer to have a substrate, then I suggest you use sand as your substrate. The reason is that, especially if your fish food are sinking pellets, when they sink to the substrate, it will just remain on top of the sand. So the fish can still eat them, or I can easily clean them out. Unlike for gravel substrate, the food may enter in between the gravel, unreachable for the fishes. Therefore, the food will be uneaten and rot, and it is more complicated to clean out this uneaten food in gravel as compared to sand.
Hi again. Thank you for staying until the end. To be a good fish keeper, it is important that you do your research first before starting. And if you already started, it is a continuous learning. But importantly, if you learn something, it's also good to share what you learned. As what Rachel O'Leary always say, we are one big community of fish keepers, and we must help one another to be better in what we are enjoying to do. So I have more topics to share, and if you want to be notified about those videos, then please click that subscribe button, and a like is very much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you.